What's up, you guys? Last few games of the round, we're going to go through the Broncos and the Sharks here, 26-18 there, and a really good game for a couple of really important stars in NRL fantasy world. And thankfully for our people score, we actually picked up Haas this week and got 65 minutes and had to do the bulk of the work there. Even had a bit of ball playing skills and got a try assist. So 39 tackles, 219 meters for 60 points in base was awesome. And obviously, when you're making that many tackles, good chance for some turnover tackles in there also. So 84 for him. I think that's a sign of things to come. We're not going to expect him to average 80 odd, but I'm expecting him to average over 60. And you can get him a 683, which is about a 53 average there. At 683, I think is a really, really good underpriced kind of guy that we should be targeting in 18 and 19 when he comes back. Our people squad just needed to. I feel like we just need to use we had 15 trades and it's like, all right, let's just make sure we get a really good scorer this week so we can keep high in the ranks, and that actually really helped us out. So Payne Haas there, great option going forward. Shawnee Johnson, what we spoke about and what I spoke about in my videos there was he's just the main man now, and he's going to be doing all the kicking, so 435 meters, actually run the ball a lot, which is great. Kicking the goals also, and then only really attacking stats was the 3 offloads and the 2 line break assists. So for someone to get 71 with that type of scoring is awesome. And he's not someone that misses too many tackles either. So 15 tackles for no misses, a couple of forced dropouts, just a perfect game all round for SJ. And he's going to be an amazing pickup. I think the majority of people should have him. Only reason I wouldn't pick him up is if you already have 3 really high-level halves, whether that's, even if you've moved on from Cleary, if you're sitting there with like a Moses, DCE, and Hughes, or Fogarty or any of these kind of guys, you've got 3 really strong ones already, then maybe for team balance I wouldn't do it. But if you don't have 3 really good ones, then maybe he's going to be a strong option for your squad. Tolman and Teague Wilton, 2 guys that aren't really relevant. If you're still holding Tessie New, then you made 26k this week. I'm not sure if you actually would have played him in your side, but 2 tries for him. It's good to see him go out there and score well, because I think he'll be able to be a solid NRL player. Just needs, I think, a little bit of direction on the defensive end, because his offensive skills are really high. Sione Katoa, good to see him playing again. 60 points for his 80-minute effort, 203 meters and 8 tackle breaks there. Was awesome. Can't do much else, can he? Couple of line breaks there. Awesome stuff. So Jakey Turpin was 55 really early in the game, I think, too, and obviously lost a couple of points there, but was doing really well for the majority of that. And he's 606k now, and he's back up to where he was after the start of the season. We had that really good run, and then why'd they have to muck around with the team and move on him when he's kind of their future? I think it was stupid. Stuffed us all up, basically. But scoring well again. Britton Nakora and Blake Brayley scoring okay. Tyson Gamble with his 52. He's been really, really solid. 61 to 53 and 51 to 52 the last 3 weeks, I believe. 3 really strong scores, and just continues to make bulk money. He's at 231k now, and we wouldn't have thought this. He was someone that's fairly limited, I suppose, in his play. Not going to be the expansive tackle busting, try assisting kind of player, but runs the ball, tackles hard. Yeah, that's all he really needs in this game. And he's kicking for 335 meters now with Brodie Croft there. So with Gamble sort of having played the majority of the past bunch of games, then they've used him as the dominant guy rather than Brodie Croft, which is good if you own Gamble. I think you can continue holding him. Maybe make a bit more cash, but also use him as a scorer. If he's going to average 55 over his last 3, then why not keep him? Toby Rudolph, a few people were questioning, do they bring him in? A little bit of a lower score this week in 48, so this is kind of more where we're expecting him to be rather than the 50s that he was scoring the last bunch of weeks. So still a decent score, but someone that you're kind of using as a bit of a scoring player in 17, maybe make a little bit of cash, but he's not going to be a keeper. Jesse Ramien, on the hand, is definitely a centre keeper at 584k now. If you need a centre in your squad, if you're worried about Tyrone Peachy, if you're saying, nah, he's gone, I don't know what his role is going to be, blah, 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 then Ramien's your man. One thing I'll say with Peachy is that when Mitch Rain comes back, then Peachy will be back used as a 13 runner rather than some cover for Aaron Clark in the middle there. So just keep that in mind. If you picked up TC Rabadi, you got 45 in 59 minutes, which is great. You got 42k in gains, but he doesn't play in round 17. That was the issue with him. And how many more weeks is he going to get until he's pushed back to the bench? So that was always what we mentioned, and you got a decent score out of him if you picked him up. Will Kennedy 44, Palaszczuk, if you're still holding him, good to see a score again, but he had a high break even because he hadn't been doing too well. Katoni Staggs, 43 in his 59 minutes on the park, had a solid game, a couple of line breaks and a try assist. He's always going to score well when he's on the park, as you can see with his 559k starting price there. So that's that with him. Again, let's wait and see what happens over the next bunch of weeks for Mr. Stags. Also, we got Mulatalo. We spoke about him as a half an option. Picked up 39 with a try assist and 6 tackle breaks. Was solid. Talakai just not doing his thing. He actually scored a lot better this time, but actually off the bench. So again, one of those one where it's like, do we pick him? But then you can see his game, his actual play on the field wasn't as good as it was in last year's 2020 games, but in 2021, here he is. Gets moved back to the bench for not playing as well on the park. So Trindle comes in and plays the 6. So Matty Moylan owners got burnt with that one, with Trindle coming in, and they did lose. So I don't know if that means too much for his spot going forward, but yeah, he played okay. Still 75k so far, down to 228. Also we got Asako comes back and plays on the wing, gets 30, solid enough, kicks his goals, and Croft with 19, he's 80 minutes, only kicking for 83 metres, which was fine. Jordan Ricky with 21 minutes off the bench, so welcome back to him. But yeah, it's all on that one. And then our last game, so a little bit closer than we may have thought. Rabbitohs are out to a really hot start. I think 26-0 in about 30 minutes, and really slowed down over the rest of the game. But to see Jacob Little get 72 in 68 minutes really hurts when we saw how good he was going for us at the start of the season. Same with Turpin. Something to do with these hookers and just losing their spot for a week or two, or getting someone on the bench and ruining them, just to chain things up. But Little was one of those guys with Simpkin coming in, because Little was always the way better scorer. So 2 line break 6 try assists for Little. Did go off early for 68 minutes there. Murray, 66 in his time in the park. Just remember, guys, none of the Tigers players play in 17. The Bunnies players do, but the Origin players will not. So Murray, even though Rabbitohs are playing this week, he will not be. So another good score from him, 66 in 55 minutes only. So awesome work for him. A line break and a try obviously did that. Was really helpful for him there. But have a look at him as an option post-Origin. Would be cool. Adam Dewey with 2 tries and 65 points. Another great game for him on the park there in the centres after that delightful negative score he got for me a bunch of weeks ago. Thanks, mate. How quickly he got to like over 800k, and then now he's 547. Even scoring well, negative 34 this week. Campbell Graham, we spoke about as a half-decent option. Picks up 2 tries, 3 line breaks, 6 tackle breaks. So awesome work for him for his efforts out in the park. 2 tries for him, 2 tries for Johnston as well, 64. Leilua, thankfully, got a decent score out there. Played 67 minutes, which is okay. Would have been nice to play the full 80, but went off for a period of time and came back right at the end just to pick up a few extra points. I think he was on about 49 at the time. So 55 there, line break, 5 tackle breaks. Just no real negative 8, which we can cop, not like 5-6 missed tackles like he has in previous weeks. So really good to see him and Madison both get really high-level keeper scores, and I might be able to hold on to them. We'll see. Damien Cook there with 54, just had to do his thing. Did run the ball a little bit more, 67 metres, 4 tackle breaks, a try assist, but 5 missed tackles kind of killed him in the grand scheme of things to get that like 60-odd score. But still going to be a high-level hooker option going forward. How good is Tommy Burgess? 35 minutes for 54 points. A line break, just a perfect game all round. Cody Walker, 47. Reynolds, 47. Both just below that top tier of halves in the game. And they both didn't get selected for Origin, which is really interesting. And great if you've got Reynolds at this stage or Walker. Moving along the line, not too much else to talk about. Colin Matangi, again, just what happens when you got guys that aren't keepers. They're going to be up and down in their scoring. Latrell Mitchell with a 31. He's going to get a fair bit cheaper, and he'll be interesting to pick up post-Origin when they have their run home to the finish. That would be ideal. If you're still holding Oya Tukamanu, then he's going to be definitely a sell very shortly. Still 41 minutes, which is good, but just a lower score out there for him. A lower PPM, I should say. Dane Laurie is the one to look to move on now. If you're holding on to him as someone to cover in the wing fullback position, I think that time has come to an end. 469k. Did lose 29 this week after scoring 29, but he was pretty low for the majority of the game there with I think 0 tackles, 4 missed tackles, and 30 metres gain for a portion of this one with that try save, luckily. But that's that there with Dane. So definitely a trade out to come. Alex Twal, if you're still holding him, I think that's a big issue. He's not, just coming back. Just didn't score very well. Jai Arrow, also a low game. Mbine, if you've still got him, he's lost 88k now. Unfortunately, he's got to be moved on. And Sean Bloor, just another failed experiment. Unfortunately, with Roberts doing this thing again, a 15. So they're the 2 games, guys. Let me know what your thoughts on those ones were. Let me know in the comments what score you got this week. I think a few people have sneakily managed to get over 1,000, even with Tohu's injury and double points captaincy, I should say. Sorry. Um, yeah, so if you're enjoying these, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next one, guys. We're going to talk about the People's Squad, who's doing really well. My team improved. It's kind of a decent week all around, even with the Tohu captaincy. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. See you in the next one. Bye bye.